Assalamu alaikum students. This is your geography class and today we are going to discuss about the fourth chapter, that is agriculture. So you might have heard this term before, agriculture, as the art of raising crops on land. But agriculture does not merely mean, if I am saying merely, what does it mean? Merely means only. So agriculture does not only mean raising of different varieties of crops on land, but it also includes various elite sectors. Elite sectors. Before going further, we should explain elite sectors. What are elite sectors of agriculture? Elite sectors of agriculture are basically all those sectors which are associated with it. That means all those sectors in which people are being employed, in which people earn their economic stature, in which people are earning their livelihood, all those sectors which are associated with agriculture are simply called as elite sectors of agriculture. So I can say the sectors associated with agriculture are elite sectors. For example, we have forestry. It is one of the elite sector of agriculture because those people who are living in far-flung areas near mountains, near forest areas, they have the basic occupation of agriculture, and in addition to that they also perform various activities in forest. That's why forestry has become one of the elite sectors of agriculture. Number second is animal husbandry. Animal husbandry or rearing of animals. Number next is poultry. Number next is fisheries. Fisheries, you might know, the art of transplanting fish by artificial means is called as fisheries or pisciculture. So these are all those sectors of economy which are associated with agriculture itself. So they can be called as primary sectors, or all the activities performing in it are called as primary activities. So now we can say that agriculture is the art of raising different varieties of crops on land, but it does not only mean raising of crops, it also includes various elite sectors, and those elite sectors are the sectors which are associated with agriculture. For example, forestry, animal husbandry, poultry, fisheries, sericulture. Sericulture means the art of rearing silkworms for large scale production of silk. So these are all elite sectors of agriculture which are associated with it. Now if we go further, the term agriculture, which I already discussed, it is actually made up of two Latin words, ager plus culture. So we can say agriculture has been derived from two Latin words, ager and culture, where ager means land and culture means art of cultivation. Art of cultivation. So making it together, simply agriculture means the art of cultivation on land, which I have already discussed here. So this would be the actual definition or explanation of agriculture. Now agriculture is the main economic activity of people of India, because most of the people, that is, we can say 55% of the population of India, more than 55% population in India is directly dependent on agriculture. That means more than 55% population is directly earning their livelihood from agriculture, and we know most of the people performing agricultural activities are residing in rural areas or village areas. So the common economic activity of the masses of India, of the country of India, is agriculture and their elite sectors. Now, agriculture has been a traditional activity. It had been performed by people in the past, and still many people are associated with it. So it is an activity which has its origin in the past as well. So it's a traditional activity. But the most differentiating factor in agriculture is its development. In earlier times, in the past, agriculture was stagnant. Why? Because people used old techniques of agriculture. And nowadays, in modern world, in modern times, agriculture has been spread up and it had been developed immensely, because of the fact today we people are having, we are acquainted with latest technologies. We have technological scenario today, we have machines, equipments, and all required informations on the basis of technology, so that agriculture has developed in a nutshell. So the agriculture which was prevalent in the past and the agriculture which is still prevalent in most of the countries is somehow different. How it has been differentiated? Because of the practices which people perform. So by the fact, we can say that agriculture has been divided into several types or fragments. Number first type of agriculture. Types of agriculture. Number first type of agriculture is primitive subsistence farming or agriculture. Primitive subsistence farming or agriculture. This is the first type which is prevalent in India. You know, I earlier said that India is an agrarian country, or India has totally an agricultural economy. That means the maximum population, that is more than 55% of its population, derive their livelihood directly from agriculture. So when we talk about the types of agriculture or farming, the first type we have here is primitive subsistence farming. Primitive means old or orthodox, and subsistence means to sustain, and farming, you know. So what does this mean? Primitive subsistence farming simply means it is that type of farming, that type of agricultural activity in which the farmers or agriculturists use old techniques of agriculture. And what are the old techniques of agriculture? You might have heard this thing before. On a small portion of land, a farmer who owns a small portion of land, he performs a type of agriculture for sustaining his family and for sustaining his own self. For performing this subsistence farming on a small patch of land, he does not require the need, he does not need various modern equipments or advancements which have been developed or furnished in agriculture. He only uses old techniques of agriculture. He digs the land with the help of manual labor. He uses subsistence types of seeds for agricultural purposes. He uses assured means of irrigation for agricultural purposes. So these are primitive subsistence farming. The techniques of primitive subsistence farming is old techniques of agriculture. And Here when we see the portion of the land is very much small, it obviously means that the production will be less. And when the production of the agricultural of crops is less, it is apparent that the entire production of the agricultural produce is meant for the local consumption of the farmer and by its family. That means whatever production would be there in primitive subsistence farming, it would be entirely consumed by the farmer and its family, and very few or nothing at all is meant for the commercial lines of the market. And why is it so? Because of the low productivity, because of the low production. So in simple terms we can say now, primitive subsistence farming is that type of farming in which farmers use old techniques of agriculture with assured means of irrigation, and all this agriculture is carried out on a small portion of land. Since the production is very much low, the entire production is meant for the local consumption of the farmer and by his family. Very few or nothing will be left for commercial purposes of the market. So whatever production is there, all the products, all the agricultural crops are for their own sustenance. So this was the first type of farming prevalent in India. Now in this primitive subsistence farming, there is a peculiar type of agricultural activity performed in most of the states in Indian subcontinent. And what is that technique? That is called Jhum agriculture or Jhumming. Jhumming or Jhum agriculture. It is a subtype of primitive subsistence farming. So what is Jhum or Jhumming? It is simply being called as shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation. Now we have to define the shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is one of the old types of agricultural activity performed in Indian subcontinent, which is mostly prevalent in northern part of India and eastern part of India. Because northern part of India and eastern part of India is completely engulfed with mountains. So these are the mountainous areas of India, and the people who live near the mountainous areas or in forest areas, they have a peculiar type of agricultural activity which is called as shifting cultivation. So what actually shifting cultivation is and how we can define it? Shifting cultivation is a process or is an activity of agriculture in which a farmer owns a small portion of land, or he attains a small portion of land in forest areas. We know that in forest areas natural vegetation is available, so it becomes very much difficult for the farmers to raise various types of crops there. So what they actually do, firstly they select a portion in forest area and start deforestation there. They cut down all the trees or they burn the trees so that the land area would be available for agricultural purposes. Once the land is cleared with trees, agricultural activity starts. They grow crops, they sow seeds into the land, and finally they irrigate it for the period of 4 to 5 months, and finally when crop is raised, they harvest the crop, and if they find out that the fertility of the soil which they have used has reduced, they will abandon the land, they will forsake the land, or they will simply leave the land area and move to the next area. So they will move from one place of forest area to next place, next portion of forest area for agricultural purposes. That is why it is called shifting cultivation. It is still prevalent in many traditional states of India, like in Manipur, Nagaland, eastern states. It is also prevalent in Jammu districts. It is also prevalent in West Bengal. So there are certain types of certain areas available, certain regions where still this Jhum agriculture or shifting cultivation is done, and the entire production produced in shifting cultivation is again meant for the local consumption of the farmer and his family. Nothing is left for the markets because the production is low. So this was the first type of farming or type of agriculture, primitive subsistence farming. Now we have the second type, that is called as the second type is intensive subsistence farming. It is similar to primitive subsistence farming. The only difference is that is primitive and this is intensive subsistence farming. The only difference here is in intensive subsistence farming, farmers usually have modern techniques of agriculture, and in previous one, in primitive subsistence farming, farmers or people usually had traditional methods or old techniques of agriculture, but here we have modern techniques of agriculture. So intensive subsistence farming is simply that type of farming or that type of agricultural activity in which farmers or agriculturists use modern techniques of agriculture, like they use chemical fertilizers, they use HYV, high yielding variety seeds, which are actually genetically modified in that industry. High yielding variety seeds. In addition to that, they have better irrigation facilities, and modern equipments or machines are used in agricultural purposes. Use of modern machines or equipments. So these are modern techniques of agriculture. So intensive subsistence farming is that type of farming in which farmers use new techniques of agriculture. For example, the use of chemical fertilizers is very much available there. High yielding variety seeds are used to increase the production. Better irrigation facilities are deployed to the agricultural land because every crop has its own requirement of irrigation or water. Use of modern machines or equipments. By these four things, we can say the agricultural activity, that is intensive subsistence farming, is completely a modern technique of agriculture in which the entire production is meant for, again, for the local consumption of the farmer. Very few percentage of the production is sold out in the market. So these are the two types of agricultural activities prevalent in India. Yeah, these are the simply types of agriculture prevalent nowadays. Now the third type is commercial farming or commercial agriculture. Commercial farming or commercial agriculture is that type of agriculture in which the entire production of the agricultural crops is meant for the commercial lines of the market. That means whatever crop is raised in commercial farming, it is simply sold out in the market to earn money, to earn cash. Why people do so? Why farmers do so? Why they sold out? Yeah, why they sell out all the production in the market? Because they have to earn cash, they have to earn their livelihood, they have to increase their economic stature. So whatever crop is cultivated in commercial farming, they are called as commercial crops or simply cash crops. I'll give you an example here. For example, if we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, we are cultivating here numerous types of crops. One of the crop of Jammu and Kashmir, that's called saffron. Saffron will be called as commercial crop of Kashmir or cash crop of Kashmir because it is entirely sold out in the market to earn money or to earn cash. So simple terms, commercial farming is that type of farming in which the entire production of the agricultural crops is meant for the commercial lines of the market to earn money, to earn cash, and the crops which are cultivated in commercial farming by a particular farmer are called as cash crops or commercial crops. This would be the third type of commercial farming. And next there will be some further types of agricultural activities which we discuss in the next class, inshallah. Hope you have understood all the things here. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.